So we're coming up towards the end of the session now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn to each of our panelists one by one, just for a final piece of information, piece of advice, tip, whatever it might be, just a takeaway message for all of our students tonight. So I'm going to work my way around the screen one by one. So in my top left-hand corner is Daniel. So if you'd like to go first with a takeaway message for the students.
Yeah, takeaway, I think we kind of echoed on LinkedIn, having a presence on LinkedIn. I think that's very important, especially for personal branding. Nowadays, there's tons of law students around. You need to differentiate yourself. So I think LinkedIn was a great way to start.
Thank you. Sarah?
Yeah, I think take advantage of all the people who are offering help out there. There is a lot out there. Get involved in your local law society. Get involved in your local trainee solicitor or junior bar. Take advantage of mentorships. Do that networking, because there's a lot of stuff going on whereby I think you can give yourself a presence, definitely, and get ahead of the crowd.
Brilliant. James, any final words?
Yeah, so I think obviously get yourself to Oxford or Cambridge, get a first, and if you're related to a QC, that's very helpful. Alternative pathways are really what works for you. Certainly I can only speak for the self-employed bar, but it's a profession where you have to be resilient, you have to be tenacious, you have to work out solutions to tricky problems very, very quickly. And I think all of those things from the criminal bar point of view are what you look for in alternative pathways. I think every person here has had a route into their profession that has worked for them. I say jokingly about having a first from Oxford or Cambridge. If you do, that works for you, that's fantastic. If you haven't got that, work something that does work for you. Take all the opportunities, all the advantages, and it's certainly there. Be realistic, I think, as well, is probably what I would say. I came in that alternative way. I was not going to go and become a solicitor at a Magic Circle firm. I was not, wasn't going to go into a top tier chambers when I transferred back to the bar. I'm not on a QC route, but that works for me, and I think it's what works for you. And be tenacious, be determined, don't give up on it. And as Sarah said, I think diversity. Never be told you're not the right looking person for the bar, because the bar, certainly the criminal bar, is supposed to represent society, and we need everyone representing society. So never give up on it. Push away, use the opportunities, and work the route that works for you.
Brilliant. Gerard?
Yeah, just to echo what James has said, perseverance, believe in yourself. And what I would say is this: if you're starting out, don't get too hung up on the idea that, well, I should really know exactly which area of law I want to go into. If you're not sure about it, I think the important thing, which is difficult enough these days, is to get your foot on the ladder, to get some experience, and then you will find out in due course what you like, what you don't like, and you will develop into an area of law that you feel most comfortable with.
Thank you. Carl, any final words?
Yeah, just as Gerard said, keep an open mind. I never thought I'd become a criminal lawyer when I first started out, and the firm that I worked in didn't want me to be a criminal lawyer. It's important, as Gerard said, get your foot in the door, get qualified. You can always change, whether you become a solicitor and then decide to go to the bar, or the other way around. But be brave and take every opportunity, even if you don't think you're qualified for it. There's a famous saying that you miss 100% of the shots that you never take. And if you go for everything, you'll get something. And it's a good way to start, because once you've started, you can always diversify.
Brilliant. Callum, any words of wisdom?
I don't think anybody's ever asked me for words of wisdom, John. I'll be honest. Don't take it personally if you get knocked back. Most of us have been knocked back in our attempts to reach where we are. I can tell you now, 90% of you will not get that pupillage the first year you apply, and probably the same with training contracts. Perseverance is key in this job. So just stick at it, and eventually, for the majority, you'll get where you want to be with it. Whether that is a barrister, solicitor, district judge, circuit judge, high court judge, whatever it is you aspire to be. If you're good enough, you'll get there. Have a look at stuff. The Bar Council have certain initiatives like the My Bar program thing about social mobility. Have a look at some of the literature on there. Your local law societies that also will have initiatives in terms of, I know certainly the Manchester Law Society does. The local circuit has a lot of initiatives that work with a lot of charities, certainly in family law as well, with a charity called Child in Need, Child in Need and Child Concern and things like that. So there's a lot that does go on that you can get involved in at the moment. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're having to bang down the door of Chambers or a firm and everyone's turning you away, because we simply can't accommodate you at the moment. So yeah, don't let yourself get down by it. Carry on and persevere.
Excellent. And lastly, John, any final words?
Yeah, I would. The biggest single thing I would say is keep your horizons wide. This evening we've spoken about criminal law and the self-employed bar, as well as the stuff we've had from Daniel, which I have to say, Daniel, I've always found fascinating how you can skip from country to country. It's difficult enough trying to understand what the law is in this country, let alone different jurisdictions. But for example, so far tonight I've spoken about the Crown Prosecution Service, the Court Service, you've got the Government Legal Department, you've got the RSPCA, you've got the Health and Safety Executive, local authorities. There's a whole spectrum there for you to aim at. And as I think which Carl said, sort of use the scattergun approach, and you never know what might stick, and you never know what you might discover that would be a useful career for you. And then the final thing I would say is, and I've always said this, that being a lawyer is 99% perspiration and 1% inspiration. So it's a lot of hard work, but you get out of it what you put in. And if you don't put anything in, you won't get very much out.
Brilliant. Great advice there from all of our panelists. So that brings us to the end of this Q&A session. I would like to say a huge thank you to everyone for coming along tonight. Thank you to all of our panelists, and of course, thank you to Sonny for helping me to organise this. There's one more Q&A session left in this series, and it will be next Tuesday at 7:15 p.m. It's a panel of pupil barristers. So if anyone is already signed up for that, I hope you're looking forward to it. If anyone isn't and would like to attend, there are a few places left. So if you go to the speedmeeting.com website, you'll be able to sign up there. Tonight's event has been kindly sponsored by publicspeakingtuition.com. So I would like to say a final thank you to everyone for coming tonight, and I'll see you again next time. Thank you.